From tsunamis causing nuclear meltdowns to plagues with death tolls in the hundreds of millions, we count 10 of the world's most dangerous natural disasters. Number 10. Afghanistan Blizzard. In 2008, snows blasted through areas of the Middle East, with temperatures breaking below -30 degrees Celsius and inundating alpine areas with 180 centimeters of snowfall. The Afghanistan blizzard resulted in a number of deaths as people became trapped within snowdrifts in their vehicles. Reports claim that an estimated 100 amputations were made due to frostbite-related injuries. 900 locals were killed in incidents relating to the cold, with the vast majority of them unable to make communications to nearby towns as mountain passes froze over. Over the course of the blizzard, 315,000 cattle and 100,000 sheep and goats were killed by the cold's onslaught. Number 9. Hurricane Katrina. Hurricane Katrina devastated the Gulf Coast across the United States and was rated as the 6th strongest hurricane to have ever hit US shores. Causing an estimated property damage of over $80 billion, the Atlantic storm swept through Louisiana with wind speeds of up to 125 miles per hour. The storm flooded 80% of New Orleans and was responsible for over 1,800 deaths. Number 8. Gujarat Earthquake. The magnitude 7.7 Gujarat Earthquake on January 26, 2001 occurred during India's 51st Republic Day celebration. The ground shook for 2 minutes, with the earthquake's epicenter only 9 kilometers outside Chobari village to the southwest. 20,000 people were killed, with a further 167 injured. 400,000 homes were destroyed in 21 districts over an area of 700 kilometers, leaving 600,000 people homeless. Number 7. Pakistan Earthquake. The Kashmir earthquake in 2005 devastated the northwestern reaches of Pakistan. The earthquake leveled several buildings within the city of Muzaffarabad near the earthquake's epicenter, and its effects were noted in areas as far away as Tajikistan and Afghanistan. The 7.6 magnitude earthquake was responsible for some 80,000 confirmed deaths and over 106,000 injuries. Even with the $5.4 billion sent in foreign aid, it will still be years before the effect of the quake finally comes to a standstill. Number 6. Tohoku Earthquake and Tsunami. The Tohoku earthquake and resulting tsunami on March 11, 2011 led to 20,000 injured or killed, with an estimated 2,800 missing along the eastern coast of Japan. The Tohoku earthquake was the biggest to have ever struck Japan and the 4th largest ever recorded. The devastation also led to huge dangers when the Fukushima nuclear plant incurred partial meltdowns in 3 of its reactors. Japanese Prime Minister Naoto Kan stated that, in the 65 years after the end of World War II, this is the toughest and most difficult crisis for Japan. The Fukushima meltdown was the 2nd largest nuclear disaster in history, and together with the tsunami, resulted in $235 billion worth of damages to the Japanese coastline. Number 5. East Africa Drought. As one of the worst droughts in 60 years, Africa experienced overwhelming famine, with an estimation of 12.5 million in desperate need of food. The food shortage that reached crisis levels in Kenya, Somalia, Ethiopia and Djibouti caused unprecedented death and famine. Thousands of refugees fled to surrounding countries in search of food. Unsanitary living conditions and cases of malnutrition led to fatal outcomes within many of the surrounding countries that were also affected by the food crisis. Number 4. Bhola Cyclone. With winds reaching speeds of 140 miles per hour, Bangladesh's Bhola Cyclone led to nearly 500,000 deaths. As waves crashed over the Ganges River Delta, the storm swept up entire villages, destroying 85% of homes in the region. Due to the lack of early warning systems, residents of the area were given little to no warning about the incoming threat, which resulted in the loss of 45% of Tazumuddin's 167,000 inhabitants. The death toll's magnitude secures Bhola Cyclone firmly as the deadliest tropical cyclone ever recorded. Number 3. Sumatra-Andaman Earthquake. Sumatra-Andaman, the 9.15 magnitude earthquake that erupted in the Indian Ocean on Boxing Day 2004, devastated the shores of Indonesia, Sri Lanka, India and Thailand. The underwater quake and resulting tsunami was responsible for an estimated 230,000 deaths, with casualties even reaching as far as South Africa, over 8,000 miles from the quake's epicenter. The tsunami left hundreds of thousands injured and over 1 million homeless as the waters rushed into city streets and swept away everything in their path. The extensive devastation resulted in the Sumatra-Andaman earthquake being listed as one of the greatest natural disasters of all time. Number 2. Spanish Influenza. With its first strains believed to have begun in March 1918, it was not long before the Spanish flu came into contact with vast numbers of civilians throughout Asia, North America and Europe. Causing overreactions in the immune system of those infected, the deadly virus resulted in 500 million infections and 75 million deaths worldwide. With most cases of influenza typically only able to reach lethal levels within the elderly, frail or young, the Spanish influenza was able to cause lethal reactions within healthy adult populations. The virus initially received minimalistic reports in the US, Germany, Britain and France, as opposed to the free coverage that the pandemic received in Spain. It is the misconception which gave the virus its now infamous name. Number 1. Black Death. The plague of the Black Death was responsible for the death of anywhere between 25 to 60% of Europe's population. In its 3-year lifespan between 1348 and 1351, the Black Death claimed the lives of almost 200 million men and women. With such massive mortality rates, the Black Death gained a few nicknames over the course of its lifespan: the Great Mortality and the Pestilence, grim reminders of one of the worst pandemics ever recorded.